You ever wake up thinking your day's gonna be boring and then boom, there's a bulldozer chewing through your front yard before you've even had your first sip of coffee? Yeah, that was me that Friday morning. My biggest worry was supposed to be whether my coffee machine would cooperate. Instead, I opened my front door and saw my lawn being ripped apart like it was enemy territory, all because some power-drunk HOA decided I didn't matter. No warning, no call, just forged documents and a neon vest acting like he owned the place. They thought I'd just roll over. They forgot who they were messing with. So picture this mug in hand, fuzzy slippers on my feet, sun barely up over cold Virginia grass. I step outside and freeze. There's a massive yellow bulldozer out there roaring to life, tearing straight through my mosaic driveway, gravel flying earth, torn up like a battlefield. The guy in charge, clipboard glued to his hand, waves at the operator to keep going. For 3 long seconds, I just stand there like my brain got blue screened. Then it hits me hard that this isn't a nightmare. I drop my mug, shattering it on the porch, and bolt out yelling, "Hey, stop! What the hell are you doing?" The foreman, thick-necked, cocky, barely looks up. "We've got authorization," he says, cheerful as you please, holding up papers like they're the 10 Commandments. "Work order signed 3 days ago. Community access improvement." My stomach knots up when I see the HOA logo, West Rock Estates. I'm not even in their HOA, never have been. But he points at his forged papers, says temporary public access servitude. Approved by the HOA president, Ms. Karen Milner, notified property owner. He taps my forged signature like I'm supposed to buy this. "You think I'm stupid," I shout, waving the document. "You forged my name. You're trespassing." The guy shrugs. "I just follow the work order." Then, like I'm the problem here, he radios the crew, owners being uncooperative. That phrase, like, I was the one causing trouble, not the guy bulldozing my lawn that just about lit me on fire. So I call 911, voice shaking from pure disbelief. The cops pull up, thank God, and I think finally some sanity. But they look at the same phony paperwork, glance at the county land registry, and get this. The digital map shows my front lawn as community access. Except I know my boundaries. I tell them pull up the old parcel map. The officer does. But the lines have been blurred out like someone smudged the screen. The older cop tries to keep the peace, but with the fake docs and the map all messed up, he can't legally stop the crew. They take my statement and leave. The bulldozer starts right up again. My wife's peeking out the door, daughter clinging to her legs, both of them scared. And I get that old feeling from my deployment days, that crawling sense down your spine that someone's declared war and you didn't even get a heads up. Next morning, I'm at the county records office before sunrise, folder of deeds and surveyor reports under my arm. I'm running on 3 hours of sleep and a gallon of rage. Janelle, the clerk, helps me pull up my property records. The map on file has been updated last Thursday with a fat gray line labeled Temporary Community Access Corridor. 3 weeks ago, clean. 2 months ago, clean. 6 months ago, still nothing. But now, a fake overlay and a modification submitted by Karen Milner herself. Inferred consent, it says. Janelle turns pale. "This shouldn't have been processed without your signature." Back home, I call Leo, an old friend and independent surveyor. He shows up with his drone stakes. My real property lines prints out hard data. No easement, no servitude. This is your land, period. While we're staking, my neighbor Paul walks over. Good guy keeps to himself, 2 beagles that never bark. He tells me there was a HOA meeting. Karen told everyone the county approved a new route because of a land dispute, but no one mentioned my yard. Of course not. I tell him to write down everything he remembers just in case. That night I call the zoning department, play dumbass about Route B. The lady on the phone says the HOA claimed all homeowners were notified. I set her straight. Then file a challenge, she says. If any documents were altered, that's a real problem. Oh, they were altered, all right. Now it's war. I compile every bit of evidence, maps, deeds, survey data, photos of the wrecked lawn, and make backups. I was trained for battlefields, hostile takeovers, but this was a whole new war fought with clipboards and code books and digital lies. So I drive down to Karen Milner's pristine house, you know, the type, perfect roses, symmetrical shutters, little sign that screams HOA president. She opens the door, gives me that smirk only a career bureaucrat can manage. I lay it all out. Forged documents, destroyed property county filings with her name. She shrugs, says, "We acted in the community's best interests. You can take legal action if you want. Our paperwork is in order." I lower my voice. "You think you can just bulldoze a veteran's land and get away with it?" Her smile doesn't budge. "Your military service is irrelevant." She slams the door in my face. Back in my truck, I breathe, then call my lawyer. No answer. Next, my college buddy Eric, now a reporter. Within minutes, Eric's digging. He sends an email to the county drafts, a headline, "HOA accused of destroying veterans' lawn for unauthorized road." By lunchtime Monday, the story's gone viral. News vans, angry emails, HOA watchdog blogs. And the real bomb drops when the county states there's no record of any approved community access. Every document the HOA used is fake. Seals copied from old PDFs. Karen's signature on every page. Suddenly, two people from the Commonwealth's attorney's office show up at my door, state badge and all. I hand them everything, the forged doc survey data, audio recordings Eric dug up, including Karen telling the contractor, "If he causes problems, say he threatened you. He's ex-military. It'll sell." The agents are stone-faced. This isn't their first HOA rodeo. My lawyer finally calls. "This is going nuclear. Karen's under investigation for forgery, fraud, abuse of position." I just nod. It's about time. The next 48 hours, the neighborhood's swarming with press. The HOA board is ducking questions. Karen holes up in her house, blinds closed, legal team working overtime. Then comes the bombshell. Eric finds a second forged approval, this time in the name of a dead county official. That's not just fraud, that's criminal. By week's end, the state issues a grand jury indictment. Karen Milner, multiple felonies, criminal conspiracy, destruction of property, document forgery. Court day, the room's packed. Our attorney projects the evidence for the jury maps. GPS overlays audio of Karen directing her crew, forged contracts, everything. One former board member admits under oath that Karen manipulated the votes, threatened lawsuits if anyone objected. The HOA's defense collapses. They offer a settlement hush money. I say no deal. The trial rolls on. A forensic doc examiner testifies. My accountant details the business I lost because of all this. I take the stand, tell them about that morning, the helplessness, the betrayal, the fight. When the verdict comes in, I can barely breathe. HOA and Karen Milner liable for everything. Over $2 million awarded. Karen's face is blank, as if she's still waiting for someone to bail her out. No one does. And it doesn't stop there. The HOA dissolves. Karen's house is seized, her SUV. With the HOA Pride bumper sticker liquidated, her bank accounts drained. She gets 11 years in federal prison, 5 before parole charges, including government fraud and conspiracy. She just stares at the judge, defiant to the end. The real victory. My land officially, legally, publicly mine again. Every inch. We rebuilt. My wife and daughter brought out blueprints, a mug of coffee, a new sapling for the garden. I relayed the turf by hand, repaved the drive, installed cameras, not from paranoia, but because I'd learned the hard way documentation wins wars. And then the calls started coming. Letters from strangers, stories from folks in Florida, Oregon, Texas, their HOAs trying the same stunts. One senator invited me to speak at a policy hearing. 3 months later, the Kendrick Act passed. HOAs can't touch land outside their boundaries without double-certified notarized consent. Falsifying docs, automatic felony. Now, in the middle of my new front yard, there's a stone plaque in honor of those who stood their ground against those who thought they could steal it. People stop, take pictures, sometimes leave thank you notes, sometimes just nod. One day, a stranger's envelope taped to the plaque photo of another scarred yard. Another fight. We're fighting back. Thanks for showing it's possible. I never wanted to be a symbol. I just wanted my lawn back. But you know, sometimes when people bulldoze through your piece and call it progress, you got to push back, not with fists, but with proof grit and a little help from the law. And when you win, you don't just get your land back, you get your dignity, your future, your morning coffee, and your quiet back, too. So let me ask you, what would you have done? Where's the line between defending what's yours and fighting for something bigger? Drop your story, your opinion, your wildest HOA nightmare in the comments. And hey, if you believe in standing your ground, hit that subscribe, share this story. Let's make sure the next Karen thinks twice before rolling out the bulldozer.